New details now about a private jet crash that happened in Maine yesterday. New numbers say at least 6 people were on board and all died in that jet taking off from an airport in Bangor, Maine. It happened as snow was falling in the area. An investigation is currently underway. We have Wink News security analyst and former Navy pilot Rich Kolko joining us in the studio. Rich, what will investigators look for first here?
Well, Chris, it's called risk assessment and risk analysis, and pilots typically review this before departure. There's even a word for it. It's get-home-itis, and this is where pilots may choose to mitigate some of the risk of the flight in order to get home. Conditions were clearly sketchy in Bangor, and here's what the airport director had to say.
There were planes landing and departing around that time, and we had crews on site responding to the ongoing storm that we had at that time.
So the pilot conducts this risk analysis. How do they do that?
Well, Chris, it's actually, back in the Navy days, it was a piece of paper on computer. Before you go on a flight, you look at the certain items of the risk. Weather, plane condition, is the crew tired, landing airport, departure airport, all these things. There's usually a number that can be assigned to it. You add that number up, and that kind of assigns a risk to the flight. Low number is low risk, high number is high risk, and there's the middle numbers. And then the Navy, or maybe the Air Force, came up with this unusual word we saw here. It's called get-home-itis. And what that is that's a last moment thing where you want to think about before you actually fly. So the pilot would look at that risk and then at the last minute say, I really want to go on this trip. And what they end up trying to do sometimes is they ignore, oh, the weather's not that bad, I can make it, or the crew's not that tired. But that get-home-itis, that's supposed to make you think it through so that you make the right decision and keep yourself safe. And that could be an issue with this event in Bangor.
What would the factors be that might make a pilot make a decision that deviates from that risk assessment? Well,
in this case, it's a charter aircraft. You've got a business to run, so you have people in the back, and they may be pressuring you to, we've got somewhere to be, we've got a meeting to go to, and that pilot may have to make a decision for their business, and then they decide to go even while it's snowing and that weather, and that's all going to come out in the NTSB and FAA investigation here. Very important.
All right, Rich, a lot to learn still. Thank you very much.